Good morning. This is the Great Basin Fire potential briefing for Saturday, August 19th. On the impact map, lots of moisture from the monsoon, from the remnants of Hurricane Hillary pushing on up from south to north the next couple of days. And it's interesting, by Sunday and Monday, we draw a definitive line across central Utah where to the north and west we have very heavy rain, high humidity, no issues. But along and east of the Wasatch and Utah Mountain Crest, we have drier air that will still stay entrained. Not too different from what happened in Maui with approaching hurricane, but on the outer periphery, there were drier wedges of air drawn into the outer bands of the hurricane. And similar here, where we have humidity coming up, but only 20 to 30%, but also strong winds, 35 to 45 miles per hour. Fuels here have been moistened, but we'll have to watch these far eastern areas, southeastern areas very carefully, especially Sunday and Monday. Lots of moisture starting to move into the south. You can see some of those heavy rain bands, lighter rain showers moving further north. You can see on the right-hand side how much lightning is going on and the consolidated lightning with the tropical moisture. It's all going to come moving northwards, but still active. We have new fire starts in the red, recent fires in the yellow. So a lot of the lightning has still started to ignite some of the fuels, especially the further north you go up into Idaho. These larger red circles indicate larger new fires. Last 7 days, again, a lot of the moisture was in the south and starting to move into towards far southern Idaho, but northern areas in Idaho still have stayed bone dry. And we see on the ERCs, nothing super dry, but still that yellow, that pale yellow area is about 80 to close to 90 percentile in terms of ERC. So still some areas that we'll have to watch, but there's the deep moisture coming up from the south, and there is the hurricane right now. Very unusual to have a Category 3 type hurricane pushing up, but the warmer El Nino waters are aiding that, combining with the monsoonal moisture as the clockwise flow around the high, counterclockwise around the low, pulls that moisture up. We would have that moisture even without the hurricane. It would be a good monsoonal surge, but the hurricane pulling up even more moisture will even add to that. We see that here on the map on the left. There's the hurricane, but there's the monsoonal moisture ahead of it. And you can see that far eastern areas of Utah are in the outer periphery. There's actually a lot of dry air in parts of New Mexico and Colorado. The moisture comes in. Interesting on the 7-day, we'll see some lightning here, but RHs will be coming up. But in Northern California on the outer periphery, they have high risk for lightning. They'll see some lightning, but they have drier air on that side of the flow as well. And we see the winds not too big, really, other than gusts and thunderstorms. We look at the humidity, tells an interesting story. Still staying in the teens in northwest Nevada, at least through mid-afternoon before coming up. But also we're seeing some upper teens to mid-20s here in southeast Utah, and still hanging close to the low 20% range up here. So probably still some decent burning for one more day up in Idaho. But then by Sunday, you see that deep dark green pushing all the way up through Idaho into Montana, all through much of Nevada. And that should put most areas in the green. But there's this growing drier area out here. So we see the winds from the southeast starting to kick in over here. And some of that humidity is on the high side, but some of that in eastern Utah is in the 20 to 25% range. So we'll have to watch that a little bit. On Monday, even drier air gets wrapped up into that edge area. We have a yellow here now in southeast portions of Utah, also in western Wyoming, eastern Idaho. They're going to see drier air. There's going to be a fine line between heavy rain and dry conditions. And you see some of the humidities in the upper teens to mid-20s still through there. You can see the strong winds through here as well, 30, 40, 45 mile an hour gusts. You can see the heavy rain here in the next 3 days, but you also see where that dry line is in far eastern areas. So we go through the next period. Looks like we are back to monsoonal flow, starting to pull back in on Tuesday. And then by Wednesday, you see that deeper monsoonal flow pushes back in, especially eastern Nevada and most, if not all, of Utah. So we change that back to green, and that moisture covers lots of areas, except for maybe northwest Nevada. as we go into Thursday and exiting Friday. So another shot of rain for eastern areas. And then finally, by the end of the week, we see drier air starting to move in from the southwest. 7-day precipitation totals moderate to heavy rains and flash flooding, where you see a lot of the red areas, even some good rains up here into Idaho. Have to watch some of the recent burn scars in both Idaho and other areas with this heavy rain, but still some of those pockets in southeast Utah do stay dry. Interesting. The 8 to 14 day shows near normal temperatures, but still a signal of above normal precipitation. This might be a little overdone. We'll see how that plays out. And this concludes our briefing. Have a great day.